Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Stebanson. Welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Please make sure y'all go ahead and do that. That's the easiest way if you want to reach me. Anyway, let's get into today's topic here. So LeBron made a lot of headlines yesterday, yo, and everybody was flaming him up, right? Everybody was flaming him up. And the big boys got into the conversation. People on Fox, people on ESPN, everybody was chiming in, right? But there was one particular show that I was very, very interested to hear what they were going to say. And in particular, one person. And this person is Nick Wright. We're talking about first things first. If you guys know anything about Nick Wright, he's a LeBron James zealot, man. He is the guy that said LeBron James became the GOAT in 2016 after they won that championship, right? He's really been riding hard for LeBron. Now, here's what's interesting. Here's the rub. On that show, of course, you have Kevin Wiles, but you also have Chris Broussard. Now, Chris Broussard is a LeBron James fan with logic, because although he has LeBron, I think is his number 2 greatest player of all time, he does have MJ number 1. And whenever we have conversations about the GOAT, Chris always argues in the favor of Jordan. Here's another interesting thing. Historically, whenever Chris Broussard and Nick Wright had gotten into these GOAT debates and top 10s and all that, Chris Broussard usually lights Nick Wright up into the high heavens, man. He be flaming him. He be smacking fire out of him in some of those segments, man. So what happened? So they brought up this topic, and they were addressing this comment that LeBron made in terms of what he was talking about ring culture and how it's weird. And of course, in typical Nick Wright fashion, he decided to go up there and start twerking it up. But if you know anything about a Nick Wright, Chris Broussard segment, when Nick tries to pull his little fast moves, you know that Chris Broussard never lets Nick get away with it. And today was no exception, bro. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But before we even get into their exchange, our video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what I want to do now is I want to play this exchange for you guys here. I want you guys to listen to it because it's great. It's great. He really got him here. And we'll come back and react to the comments. Take a listen to that there.
Look, I can answer LeBron's question. The reason it is, and first of all, let me say this. It is as focused on, and we all know it, in the NFL. Now, it's all about one position, quarterback. It's not as big of a deal for any other position, but it's a big deal for quarterbacks. The only reason, and Tom Brady is, I would say, universally regarded as the GOAT. Is there any argument to that?
Sure.
It's only because he has 7 rings, or if he had 6. Like, it is all because of his rings. He doesn't have the best individual stats other than, the longevity type stuff. He was only first team All-Pro 3 times. That means the only 3 times that people think he was the best quarterback that season. All right. He didn't win. Aaron Rodgers has more MVPs. Obviously, Peyton Manning. It is all because of the rings. And Nick, you know this. You and I both think Mahomes could pass him. It's going to be based on rings. Now, he doesn't have to get 7. He's got to get at least 4 and do some phenomenal stuff individually with the way he's played.
For some people, he will need 7.
No, right.
Yeah.
If he continues
we never agreed to 4.
Yeah.
We had talked about if it's a 3-peat, then that brings, right. He has to do some incredible individual, that's about winning.
Yes, of course.
But he has to do, he probably needs 5, 6, and if he keeps playing like he has, 7 maybe, or 8 maybe. My point is this. It is talked about in football with quarterbacks as it is in the NBA. Forget baseball. Forget baseball. We understand that, right? You could hit 500 and hit 100 homers in a season and still lose because you don't have the pitching or the defense.
I know you have a lot you're going to get to, but just can I respond to the football thing quickly on that? Where I understand what you're saying to a degree, but the difference football to basketball, I would argue, is I do think there are a lot of people who say Dan Marino is better than Ben Roethlisberger, even though Ben Roethlisberger.
But that's fine. That's Ben Roethlisberger because quarterbacks touch the ball every play. Yep. They can have more of an impact on the game than any other player in football. That's why quarterbacks and basketball players are judged more on rings because in the NBA, of our 3 major sports, football, basketball, baseball, that are on everybody's in the public conscious, everybody talks about. Basketball is the one where one player can have the most impact.
Yes. Correct.
And then quarterback, you can have a huge impact. That's why. So because in basketball, one player can have the greatest impact, that's why there's rings. Now, I think LeBron was a little, I don't want to say disingenuous, but there were a few things I think that were erroneous that he said. Nobody says Iverson, Barkley, Nash, Ewing, Karl Malone, James Harden. Nobody says they weren't great. Nobody says they weren't great. We all acknowledge they were great. But when you start talking about all-time greats, you nitpick. And one of the nits to pick is a ring. And so I think that was a little unfair. And I also got to say this. When he said winning is a team sport, a team accomplishment, when he said in that video years ago, when we came back and beat Golden State 3-1, that's when I realized or felt like I was the greatest player of all time. He didn't say that's when I realized we were the greatest team of all time. He took individual credit by saying that team win made me the greatest player of all time. So I think he's talking out of both sides of his mouth in that regard.
I don't think that's talking out of both sides of your mouth. To me, that would be if he said winning this championship made me the greatest player of all time.
That's what he said.
After playing just average or regular. I think it was overcoming that with what a lot of people consider as good of a 3-game stretch as any player has had. And like that, and that
he didn't say any of that.
I understand.
He said coming back from 3-1 against the greatest team ever.
But they came back from 3-1 because of more than anything else his individual performance.
He was great, of course. And so he was 9 for 24 in that game 7, though.
Okay.
I'm just saying. He took individual credit. Not saying that he didn't think his teammates helped him, but he took individual credit for that team accomplishment. That's all I'm saying. And then here he calls it just a team accomplishment.
So listen, I think that the frustration is rings have always mattered. They have not always, it has not always been the end-all, be-all counting the way it has devolved into in some quarters. And this is the one.
Who's it the end all be all for? I don't think any intelligent person on TV is saying it's all about the ring count. Right. Kobe's got more rings than LeBron. I think LeBron's better than Kobe.
I know you do, but I also think that is the number one thing when people argue Kobe over LeBron that they bring up is the rings. Obviously,
no, it's not. I have not heard one player say that. A lot of ex-players think Kobe was better than LeBron. I disagree with them, but a lot of them think it. They don't say the rings. They say the killer instinct. He was going at your throat. That's what they say.
All right, but I understand that that's what some players say. I thought you had just said people on TV. I can tell you what our old friend Charles Barkley said to me personally in a bar one time and on TV, which was in the LeBron versus Michael thing. How can LeBron be better than Michael when he's not better than Kobe yet when Kobe's got 5? That was a direct quote in person and on TV that we've heard.
So you heard what they had to say. You saw how Chris Broussard was not going to let Nick Wright get away with it. I mean, y'all saw it. Nick was trying to pull a fast one on everybody, and it just didn't work. As I said yesterday, all throughout the day, there's no way you can intellectualize that position, especially given the source of that message. Had it been somebody else, like maybe let's say it was Allen Iverson, a guy that never won rings, then probably you could kind of hear him out. But LeBron James, of all people, trying to make that argument? Mr. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Are you even joking with me right now? Wasn't he the one that was putting so much of an emphasis on winning rings? Wasn't he the same one that spoke about it? And like Chris brought up, after they won the championship in 2016, he called himself the GOAT. He was referring to the rings. So to me, look, man, that was just ridiculous. And Nick was trying to weasel his way around it. No, bro, you don't understand. LeBron means it like this. He means it like that. He's like, nah, we're not. No. And the funniest part about it is both of these guys are represented by Clutch. But here's something interesting. And I mean this. It's something that I thought about. I said, with all of the people that twerk it up in media for LeBron and his camp, why is Chris Broussard, even though he's represented by Clutch Sports, the same way Nick Wright is represented by Clutch Sports, why doesn't he jump out the window? Why doesn't he jump on this LeBron train the way a lot of these guys do? Why isn't he saying LeBron is better than Jordan and saying all kind of ridiculous things? And believe it or not, I truly believe this because I thought about this yesterday as I was thinking about this show. I think Chris Broussard's Christianity plays a role. For those of you who don't know, Chris Broussard not only is a Christian, but he's a real Christian. Like he follows it through and through. And I think that part of him won't allow him to go on TV and lie about things that he doesn't believe. This is just my observation from afar. I believe Chris cannot succumb to a situation where he's lying to collect the bag. And in this situation here, he refuses to relent. Maybe that's something he made abundantly clear to them before they started representing. Like, I'm not going to be up here lying for you guys. I'm going to say what I believe. I cannot be up here lying. Because a lot of these guys do lie. They lie, they grift, they come up with ridiculous comments and statements and all of that. Like, Chris is like, no, look, I understand LeBron's greatness. He even has him ahead of Kobe, by the way. But I'm not going to go that far and then just come up here and start making a fool out of myself by making silly arguments on TV on a daily basis. I'm just not going to do it. So these are just my thoughts. I don't know. That's just what I think from afar. You guys let me know what you think about that exchange, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.